This is the Extra Point Podcast from Arizona's Family.
Well, let's get our first scouting report of the Super Bowl and go to Kansas City, check in with our great television affiliate at KCTV, Sports Director Scott Reiss in Kansas City. What was the mood like waking up today knowing the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl?
Well, I had to thaw out after being on the field in sub-degree wind chill. I know you guys don't know anything about that in Arizona, and as a California guy new to the area, I have to acclimate. So that was the first thing. But last night was a ton of fun. The atmosphere was fantastic. Chiefs Kingdom brought it as we knew they would, but the decibel level was legit at Arrowhead, and we now know for certain it is not Burrowhead, so we can put that to rest. But no, atmosphere was great. The game obviously was super exciting. And, it's nice to talk about a Chiefs victory and an impending Super Bowl.
Yeah, how much extra fun was it, though, to send the Bengals back to Cincinnati, especially after all the trash they talked, including the mayor?
Yeah, how about that, right? I guess the lesson here is that if you trash talk Patrick Mahomes, you got to deal with Travis Kelce, right? And the mayor of Cincinnati found that out firsthand. Although to his credit, he was relatively apologetic today, saying, hey, basically, we deserve that and we own it, and, congrats to the Chiefs. So it certainly made it sweeter inside the locker room, I can assure you, but it wasn't just the trash talking. It was also the fact that a lot of folks were starting to question, hey, who is the best team in the AFC? Hey, who is the best quarterback in the AFC? And if last night had gone the other way, that second question might have been the most talked about thing the entire offseason, right, in NFL circles, Burrow or Mahomes, if it had been Burrow 4, Mahomes 0. But now we'll never know. Patrick had the last laugh, and we're moving on.
You get to see Patrick Mahomes up close and personal do amazing things on a weekly basis. But just that run that sealed the game and the late hit out of bounds, but his decision to take off, what did he have to say about that after the game? Was that almost like a Michael Jordan type moment?
Yeah, I think it was part instinct and part adrenaline, right? And he needed both because obviously the physical tools that he normally has, he doesn't have right now in terms of the mobility and the ankle. And he tweaked it during the game. There was a play in the second half where he was forced to roll out to his left, and they hadn't planned any rollouts that way, and for good reason. And after that play and the rest of the game, he was hobbly. You could tell he was wearing it, he was hurting, but he did what he had to do. And I mean, Mahomes is, it's cliche, right? But he is the ultimate competitor. We saw that down the stretch. He made every play he had to make, and they needed every last one of them to win the game. And, I think he was just caught up in the moment. And, the one thing about Patrick is, he's still relatively young, right? He's only 27, but he's been there. He's already played in 2 Super Bowls. And the quote that resonated most with me after the game was when he said something to the effect of, look, we're really excited to be here, but I've been to Super Bowls twice. I've won one and I've lost one, and I know the difference. Yeah, and I think that has been the motivating factor all through this.
It sounds like that the losing one, that kind of sticks with him more than the victory, you would think.
Very much.
As far as just entertainment value goes, Travis Kelce's coming to town. We had Gronk here for the last Super Bowl. Can you kind of describe the entertainment value of Travis Kelce, his brother with the Eagles, and Mama Kelce coming to town as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's NFL meets WWE, right? I mean, that's the persona of Travis Kelce. And, of course, he pulled out the jabroni reference when he was talking about the Cincinnati mayor last night. So, I mean, he is a ton of fun, and you love the personality. But like Gronk, it all starts with him being one of the best players in history at his position, right? I mean, you don't get that kind of street cred just by, being goofy and spouting off at the mouth. I mean, when you back it up with your game, that's when people take you as seriously as they do Travis Kelce. So he's the complete package. Andy Reid talked about that today, as a matter of fact, about how much Kelce has matured, which is kind of funny to think about, where he is now and maybe where he was 10 years ago. But, since he was a young kid with the Chiefs, and, talked about the relationship with Travis and his brother Jason, because, of course, Andy Reid coached Jason when he was in Philly. So just such a unique situation with Reid against his former team and having coached both Kelce brothers, and now you get brothers for the first time in the Super Bowl. So this thing is dripping with storylines. That's good for us.
It certainly is. And Andy Reid has a connection out here. He's got some family out here. He used to eat at a local Mexican food restaurant right down the street from the stadium, Pedro's, that's no longer there, but his picture was up on the wall. So I'm wondering, has he said whether he would prefer a cheesesteak or Kansas City barbecue?
He has not. He is a cheeseburger guy. In fact, after one big victory during the season, the players surprised him in the post-game locker room with like the biggest cheeseburger you've ever seen. It was like 2 feet in diameter. So that said, I'm not sure whether he would take the tri-tip or the cheesesteak. My guess is he would be fine with either. But I'm quite sure he will tell you he'll take the barbecue.
All right, how many people from Kansas City are coming out here? What should we expect? Is it cold there, so they're all going to make their way to the desert?
Yeah, right. Right. They might have gone out there even if we'd lost last night. I mean, just an excuse to get out of here and go see 65 degrees. So, yeah, they will travel well. Fans here are getting spoiled, right? I mean, 5 straight AFC championships, and now this is the 3rd time they will have played in a Super Bowl in that 5. So, hopefully they've still got the budgetary means to keep traveling and keep doing this thing. But yeah, no, they'll travel very well, and I'm sure Philly will travel well. So it's going to have a very Christmassy feel to the stadium. It's going to be all red and green. It's going to be festive.
Well, and it's cool to see you here on the airwaves on KCTV. Of course, we saw you on ESPN for so many years. So what's it been like for you kind of parachuting into Kansas City and the Chiefs and headed to the Super Bowl now?
I got to tell you, I do take at least some modicum of credit for this success. And the reason I say that is because, when I left ESPN, I went to San Francisco to work for Comcast Sportsnet out there and wound up being a TV radio guy for more than a decade in the Bay Area. And during that time, the Giants won 3 World Series. The Warriors won 4 World Championships. The Sharks went to a Stanley Cup final. The Raiders went to the playoffs. The A's went to the playoffs. The Niners went to 2 Super Bowls. And Stanford went to 3 Rose Bowls. So that can't be coincidence. That's all I'm going to say.
Our editor and sports producer, Joe Ferris, actually, he gives himself credit for that. So I'm glad that it's actually that you brought that to the Bay Area. And could you come out here to the desert? Because we're dying, we're starving. It was a rough one. So
we will talk after the segment. I'll see if I can help you out. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, and safe travels out here to the Super Bowl.
All right, look forward to it.
The Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS 5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.